Well, hi YouTubers, hi, I'm back with the 365 100 books, and it's The Versions of Us by Laura Barnett. One Day Meets Sliding Doors. One of you has said yes, some moments change everything. Eva and Jim are 19 as students at Cambridge when their paths first crossed in 1958. Jim is walking along a lane when a woman approaches him on a bicycle, swerves to avoid a dog. What happens next will determine the rest of their lives. I couldn't even remotely get into this book. I'm counting it because I gave it a shot, but oh my god, it's so pretentious. Maybe because it's 1958 and these two students at Cambridge who are very kind of posh and quite privileged. I mean, Jim at one point decides whether he's going to drop out of Cambridge and become a starving artist, even though he lives in a like lovely, wonderful kind of manor house and he's quite, he's posh. And it is like Sliding Doors, but unlike Sliding Doors, which is a narrative of two, this is three different stories. So in one they don't meet. When they do, it's just, this is even the way it starts. Okay, 1938. This is how it begins. A woman stands on a station platform, a suitcase in her right hand, in her left a yellow handkerchief with what she dabbled at her face. The bluish skin around her eyes is wet, and the coal smoke catches in her throat. There's nobody to wave her off. She forbade them from coming, though her mother wept, as she herself is doing now. Yet she still stands on tiptoes to peer over the milling hats and fox furs. Perhaps Anton, tired of her mother's tears, retreated, lifted her down the long flight of stairs in her bath chair, dressed her hands in mittens. But there's no Anton, no Mama. The concourse is crowded with strangers. Do you hear? Do you know exactly what I mean? And it's like version 1. Puncher. Later, Eva will think, if it hadn't been for that rusty nail, Jim and I would never have met. The thought will slip into her mind, fully formed with a force that will snatch her breath. She lies still, watching the light slide round the curtains, keeping the precise angle of her tie on the rutty grass, the land itself old and crooked, the small dog snouting the verge, failing to heed the sound of gear and tire. She had swerved to miss him, and then her tie had met the rusty nail. How easy, how much more probable would it have been if none of these things to happen? Yeah. Okay. And then there's version 2, Perrot, right? And then there's version 3, Full. Okay? And it's like that throughout the entire book. It's just so pretentious. And nothing seems to happen. I started flicking through, okay? Because this, like, follows their entire lives, okay? And it's just like, beach, Cornwall, October 2008. For Jim's 70th birthday, Penelope and Gerard host a picnic on the beach beside their house. It is more than a picnic, a feast ordered from the deli in St Ives. 4 wicker baskets filled with potted cream, pork pies, pastries, fat Greek olives, and crumbling husk of feta. A great wall of festering cheese jars names the stinking bishop, and makes the younger children screw up their faces in disgust. White wine in ice buckets, cushions and blankets layered over pebbles, a table and chairs carried from the house. Gerald's iPod plays softly from a small battery-operated speaker. Muddy Waters, Bob Dylan and Rolling Stones. It's unseasonably warm and Indian summer. The sky is bright and unclouded, a thin, dilated blue. Do you kind of hear what the problem is? It's just so... I tried to get into this, but I found no difference between each single chapter. Okay? These characters are so indistinguishable, and I just really couldn't enjoy it. I couldn't even get into it. I was confused about which version was which version. Maybe because there's too many versions. 2 versions would have done it, okay? Hey, Sliding Doors is 2 versions, okay? Sliding Doors is a great film. But the thing is, and this is obviously because my working class background, how can I identify with someone, okay? These pretentious, these upper class in 1950s, these privileged, okay? They seem to be kind of in their own little bubble, little world, okay, of privilege and position. How can I identify with that? I just couldn't. And normally I can do that with ease, but this, everyone goes on, okay, this got great reviews, but no, not for me. If you want to read about pretentious dialogue, but I literally couldn't distinguish between the different versions. Like, version 1 dancer, New York, November 1963. The first Jim notices about her are her feet. The shoes are long, strenuous, slightly simian. Her ankles are starkly pale against her black leotard. He watches her body too, of course, the broad curve of her hips, her tapering waist, her breast pressed tight against her chest. with his feet that hold his attention as she dances, tracing skittish patterns across the skittish patterns across the floor. Her rhythm unsettled, unpredictable, obeying an inner metronome that only she can hear. Version 1. Version 2. After the show, the producers throw a first night party at the Algonquin. It's by British standards a swanky affair, livid waiters, a jazz trio, a pound endless flow of champagne. The oak room's wood-panelled walls lead to the cage in intimate, faintly medieval air. A series of heavy iron chandeliers punches the thickly plastered ceiling. A dim guttering bulbs offered the guest the flattery of a semi-darkness. Okay? Okay. Version 3. Algonquin, okay, or Algonquin, okay, is set in New York, November 1963, the same point as version 2. Jim had not been attending to go to the play. He'd already had plans for the evening. A performance by the Judson dancers at the church on Washington Square. Richard and Hannah were going with a crowd from MoMA. Afterwards, there'd be a party at some painter's apartment in the village. Artists and writers, shoe-eyed girls swaying to the music. Someone in the kitchen, doling out amphetamines from a paper bag. Now, different chapters, different things, apart from version 2 and 3 are in the same location, okay? But what is the same is the voice. The narrative voice is identical. Now, I have not read One Day, okay, but I've seen Sliding Doors, and Sliding Doors is dramatically different, okay? Each version of Hannah's life is different. This, I found nothing. I didn't like it, and if you want to read it, I'll let you know where you want to buy it, fine. But if you liked it, fine, you do you. I couldn't identify it, I couldn't get it, and I just didn't like it. Sign up here, YouTubers. Please subscribe 100 books. Bye now.